Wall buys. Since the inception of COD Zombies, wall buys have been an integral feature to the game, and although in the newer games you don't really need to have a wall buy anymore because you can either spawn in with your gun, you can spawn in with a Bowie knife, you can spawn in with a specialist weapon that's absolutely overpowered beyond belief that maybe we should work on progression to the game, but that's besides the point. Wall buys have become an iconic piece to COD Zombies that in the older games was a lot more necessary than the newer games. In the older games, it was a lot more difficult to be able to get to the box before you got a wall gun. You always needed to get that wall gun, and in most cases, Treyarch and even non-Treyarch have done a fabulous job of making sure that all the guns that you find are in good order and in good place. But every so often, there's a gun that ends up in a weird spot that you just kind of question why. Why would you put this here? What was the point? What was the necessity of putting this gun here? And that's what we want to explore here in this video today. What is one of the most confusing wall buys to ever exist in COD Zombies? And to find that, we actually travel back in time. No, not that far back. Okay, there we go. World at War. It was the beginning time for COD Zombies, and there was still a lot of stuff to iron out. There was a lot of innovation going on, a lot of things that we had never even known before, because COD Zombies was made on a whim that the developers just liked the game mode, and suddenly it turned into the behemoth that it is today. And when I say behemoth, I mean a drowning Sega that's just... Oh, BO6, please be good. Jokes aside, there was a lot of ironing out that the developers had to do in order to make the game what it is today. And it just makes this decision all the more confusing. Let's travel to Verrückt for a sec. What guns in Verrückt do you think of when you play the map first? Perhaps it is the sawed-off shotgun or the trench gun. Anything shotgun for a close-quarter map, you need something that kills quick. Maybe it's the ray gun. Very powerful weapon. You're probably going to down yourself with it because welcome to this game. Maybe it's the PPSH. The gun is an iconic weapon for a reason, or maybe it's one of the LMGs you have, like the MG42 or the Browning. All these guns come up in the conversation what could be the best. However, there are some weapons that you don't really think of to be an iconic weapon or a weapon that would absolutely save your life if you needed it to. In Verrückt, if you spawn on the right side where Quick Revive is, there is a secret door that you can enter into at the cost of 750 points. The same cost, as a matter of fact, as the door that you can go through, so you kind of have to make a decision early on. If you decide to open up this secret door, there is a wall buy that exists for 2,500 points. If you were playing World at War for the first time, chances are you might be playing this for the first time. Most players were not very good at the game, so in order to give them even a slim chance to make a weapon be 2,500 points is absurd to think about. In all honesty, there's not many weapons even to this day that are 2,500 points, non-pack-a-punch variants, of course. So it's a little baffling to even consider that Treyarch decided to put this weapon in. It doesn't make sense to put such a high wall buy. In all honesty, the earliest you could get this weapon is round 3, maybe round 2 if you really squeezed all your points enough and you got a little lucky with some double points. You finally gather all these points that you've been saving up to buy the bar. Mind you, the bar in real life is an absolute banger. It shoots out 30-06. If you don't know what that means, basically the M1 Garand, a semi-automatic rifle that is a rifle, and you take that M1 Garand and you make it fully automatic, and that's the bar. There's nothing else to say. That's legitimately the bar. Which, ironically, if you didn't know, another weapon that uses the 30-06 is the Springfield. And we don't want to talk about the Springfield, do we? Moving on, you have a weapon that automatically fires out 30-06 out of its barrel. And it sounds really impressive until you use it in-game. I don't know what's going on with the bar, but I believe, honestly, it's the precursor to the HK from BO1. Because this thing fires so incredibly slow. And honestly, it's probably a good thing it fires so slow because you have 20 rounds in the mag. Now, 20 rounds sounds like a lot when you're starting out with a weapon until you realize that you just spent 2,500 points on it. And also you had no more points anymore because you just spent it all. And it doesn't actually one-shot anymore. And there are super sprinters running at you that you really need to take care of. Luckily, the reload speed isn't too bad, but it's just weird to know that this is the gun they chose. Out of all the options they had, they chose a mid-tier weapon. Like, they put the stats in. They're the ones that design their game. So I wonder what Treyarch developers were thinking when they put the bar in there. But not just the bar. They put the bar with the bipod. If you didn't know, there were plans that you were going to be able to mount the weapon so that you could fire it and essentially have no recoil at the zombies, which sounds like a pretty dope idea. Could you imagine? Like, I'm guessing what they envisioned was that there were going to be bunkers kind of scattered around that you could hook up to, and then you could have like a buddy that would cover you as you're firing down upon the horde. Like, that would be sick to have. Except, again, it's only 20 rounds. Like, you're not going to be firing for very long before you have to reload. Like, seriously, I don't know what they were thinking with the magazine size. But because they really didn't add any place to put the bipod, you're kind of just left with a purchase that you can't even use half of the product, which doesn't help at all. Nowadays, we kind of look at the bar as a mid-tier weapon. It's good, it'll get the job done, but it's not anything special. And nowhere is it more abundantly clear than when you have to rely on only this bar and it legitimately runs out of ammo by round 7. You pretty much use up a lot of the ammo, if you're not conserving it, by round 7. And that is from start to finish. You are using up 100 to 120 of your 140 that you have in that magazine. Good luck with that. Now, technically speaking, you could do more damage if you only shot headshots against Varrook sprinters, so good luck with that one. That's just not feasible. An average player is not even hitting every single bullet, which luckily there's a slow fire rate. Now, you might be saying, well, there's a way to increase the fire rate. You can get double tap. Ironically, double tap is near the opposite side of the map. There is no way that Treyarch did not plan to put that double tap as far away from the bar as possible. The only way that they could have made that farther, technically, is to put it in Jug, except guess what? You turn on the power, you can get to Jug, which means that they legitimately put it a door away from Jug, which means that it is the hardest perk to get if you're on that side of the map. It's not even worth it because you're gonna fire the bullets, the very few bullets you have, so much faster. And that begins the crux of it all. Is it even worth buying? The simple answer, no. I guess you're looking for the more complicated answer. All right. So, hypothetically speaking, what could you get for the same amount of money that you would for buying the door and the bar? You're not going to believe this, but the door to spawn costs the exact same amount of money as the door to the bar. Let's say you decide that you don't want the bar. You open up that door, you don't buy any of the wall weapons that are inside of that main room, which would be the M1 Garand and the Springfield. You decide to venture out into that nice little corridor of death and decay, and you're met face to face with the double barrel shotgun, a weapon that only costs 1,200 points and will absolutely decimate any zombie that stands in your way as long as you hit your shots. Oh wait, the same issue with the bar. You legitimately first get a weapon that is almost half the price, a little less than half the price of that bar. And not only are you able to kill more zombies in total, but you get a shotgun in a close quarters map. That is incredible. Of course, in the older days, training was not really a thing. So to rely on a 2-shot shotgun that had to reload, you basically depended on speed cola, which luckily is not too far off, but you also have to turn on the power first. So if you're not good enough to train, well, you're probably not going to make it on your own. You're met with just an overall better weapon to use. It's especially one of the best weapons to use in World at War. But maybe, shotguns aren't your thing. They're not great for points, and what player isn't looking to get as many points as they possibly can? Oh, wait, you're looking for points? Well, luckily, come on down the corridor, because just a few steps over, you get the Thompson, a beautiful weapon that is a wondrous point-building weapon that only costs 1,200 points. And here's the main issue with the bar wall buy. For 100 less points, you get 2 weapons that are higher caliber than the actual bar. in World at War Zombies, the bar is simply undeniably the worst choice overall. Also, might I add, there's an actual bar wall buy right up the stairway if you buy the next door, which just basically means that that bar is completely useless. Well, I hope you enjoyed the little video. If you feel like it, slap a like on it, subscribe, do whatever you think to do. Honestly, does not matter to me whatsoever. I did hope you enjoyed the video, however. I know this is kind of a different video for my channel, and I kind of wanted to do a little bit of this. Don't worry, though. There'll be other kind of videos coming out. I would say probably in the next 2 weeks, we'll have another crazy edited video or whatever you want to call it coming up. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.